Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go to Cash App, $ Deem by any means. There go to PayPal at Deem by any means. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $2, $100. Is much appreciated. Let's expose these lies, y'all. Now it's a guy out here who has to be one of Tank Davis' biggest haters, and I'll let y'all figure out who it is because the minute that he said, I told y'all know how I get down. When you go out here and start making narratives, I'm going to expose it. Now, if you mention me, that's when you will get mentioned on a whole nother level. But we're going to keep it at just the boxing and the lies that's getting exposed. Now, there's a certain YouTuber out here who's going around saying that Frank Martin has a rehydration clause. Let's get straight to it. Gervonta Davis has never put nobody under a rehydration clause that has fought him at the 135 marker. That is a fact. Frank Martin already came out and said that he's not under a rehydration clause. That is also a fact. And this same individual, Shakur Stevenson, even asked him personally to stop putting narratives on Gervonta Davis. He even tried to insinuate that Gervonta Davis would put a clause on Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur Stevenson said no, he wouldn't put no clause on me. So even the guy that you was interviewing is debunking what you saying, but you so busy worried about Gervonta and hating on Gervonta Davis, then I make this video now, y'all, and I'm a fanboy because I won't let these channels go out here and lie. That's what they call you, y'all, when you attack their narratives, when they put things out to the public and say certain things, and then you debunk that, then they call you a fanboy because you don't go along, get along. I'm not with the go along, get along game. You start putting narratives on any boxer, I'm going to expose it, especially if we know it's not true. Now, Shakur Stevenson asked this individual to stop doing that to Gervonta Davis. He tried to take shots at Tank resume. Shakur Stevenson asked the same individual to stop doing that. He has a great resume. You know why Shakur Stevenson can't say he don't? Because Gervonta Davis has fought at least 3 people that would beat every single person that's on his resume. Robert Castasiao and Jamel Herring are the best 2 fighters that Shakur and De Los Santos are the 3 best fighters that Shakur Stevenson has faced. We all agree? We all agree. Okay. None of them could beat Mario Barrios. None of them. You're not even sure that any of them could beat. Where I know De Los Santos is one that that we would have this question about. But Castasiao and Jamel Herring, I don't think that they could beat Ryan Garcia. And all 3 of them guys I know can't beat Isla Cruz. So let's just go off of that. And Leo Santa Cruz was a way better 130 pounder than Jamel Herring, Castasiao, or any of them. So that's why Shakur Stevenson is not going to do that. Because it's just not true. So you can't even take shots at Gervonta to try to big up Shakur while you're interviewing Shakur because Shakur knows that that's not true. Shakur knows he was trying to fight Isla Cruz, so he's not going to sit up there and down Gervonta Davis' resume. He wants to fight Ryan Garcia. He's not about to sit up there and down his resume. He was just trying to fight Frank Martin. He was upset he could not fight Frank Martin. So Shakur Stevenson wasn't going to sit up there and do that, but you was trying to do it. You're literally a Tank hater, bro. You literally lied on this man, saying that Frank Martin is subjected to a rehydration clause when you have no proof of that. When I know nobody in Tank side talked to you, you have 0 proof for that. You're just putting that out there, and then you the type that'll get mad that somebody said something. Oh yeah, yo. And then he took shots at black people on Twitter. I bookmarked it so he can't even lie. Then you sat up there and said that black people like to talk about bananas. When he could have referred to a male private part as something else, because we don't refer to it as a banana. But you did that. I wonder why. And try to separate yourself as if you not black, my guy. This is what a lot of Latino guys do, and this is what pissed black people off like me. Dummy, let me talk to you about how things work. Being African or being considered black has nothing to do with your heritage. If you are Spanish, you come from a heritage, not a race. Doesn't matter if you're Mexican, Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Panamanian, name it. That is your heritage. That is the part of the earth that your parents and your family come from. That is not a race. Mexican is not a race. You understand that, but you dummies don't even get that. Do you understand what keeps you from looking like a real Spaniard? Do you even know why you speak Spanish? You speak Spanish because your people was enslaved by the same people my people was. The difference is the Spaniards enslaved y'all and had control, and the British had control over us and the slave trade. That's the only difference. That's why black people in America speak English. And that's why people in other countries, they speak Spanish. But Spanish wasn't the original speaking language of those native countries, my guy, dummy. But then you want to take shots at black people. So not only is you a hater of Gervonta Davis, you're an underlying racist towards black people. Yeah, I seen your stuff on Twitter, my guy, and I dare you to say something to me. Please say something, because I'm begging to put you on the Summer Jam screen. I am begging to do it. I am sorry, y'all. You sit up there and you flat out lied on Gervonta Davis. You flat out lied and said Gervonta Davis is putting Frank Martin under a rehydration clause, and then say that he's scared of Ryan Garcia. Let's talk about this too. Scared of Ryan Garcia? Now he's saying if Gervonta Davis does not put a rehydration clause on Frank Martin, that means that he was scared of Ryan Garcia. So let me tell you how that is an oxymoron, y'all, how that's a catch-22, how that's a double-edged sword. You try to criticize the man for putting on rehydration clauses, correct, y'all? They try to criticize him for that, right? Then when he doesn't put a rehydration clause on a Frank Martin or on fighters, now you're trying to say that he's scared of all the fighters he did put a rehydration clause on. Y'all see how Gervonta Davis can't win? So if he puts a clause on it, you're going to say he's scared and need clauses and catch weights like you tried to do with your interview with Shakur Stevenson. But then if he doesn't put a clause or a catch weight on him, now you saying any fighter that he did do that to, he was scared, they were scared to fight him. How about Ryan Garcia being scared to fight Gervonta at 135? How about that? Ryan Garcia just left the weight division. Ryan Garcia had one fight at 140. Ryan Garcia literally had just left the weight division. And when Ryan Garcia started calling out Gervonta Davis, he did not go to 140 yet. And Gervonta gave him 1 pound over. Do you remember Ryan Garcia saying that he was in the best shape of his life? Do you remember that Ryan Garcia's dad and Ryan Garcia said it doesn't matter about a rehydration clause anyway because we don't go over 10 pounds anyway? Do you remember him saying that? No, because you are a liar. Because you want to push a narrative, because you want to create a narrative, because you are a Gervonta Davis hater. You're not a fan of these other guys, because if you was a fan of Shakur Stevenson, you would be trying to help him get the Gervonta Davis fight, not try to set him up to answer questions in a certain manner. Did y'all see how uncomfortable Shakur Stevenson was when he was saying that stuff about Gervonta and he had to check him? Even Shakur Stevenson say, look, man, I hate to defend him, but I can't let you go and say what you are saying. It is not true. Frank Martin already said that him and Gervonta Davis is not under a rehydration clause, and then got the nerve to lie on Frank Martin and sit up there and say that Frank Martin is a 140-pound fighter because he's had fights above where he had to weigh in above the 135 limit. You know who else did that, y'all? Devin Haney, but you're not sitting up there saying that about Devin Haney. But you're not sitting up there saying the same exact thing about Devin Haney, saying he was really a 140 fighter this whole time because he had a bunch of fights where he weighed in at above that 135 marker. Goofballs. And I'll get into a bunch of other reasons why you a goofball, but for right now, I'm going to leave it at that. Because if you mention my name, if you respond to this video, if you say anything, oh, I'm going wild on you, like I do everybody else who think they want this problem and then realize they don't want this problem. Yeah. I'm a different guy. I'm a different breed, and you are a liar. When the boxer himself said Gervonta Davis is not doing this, but I'm supposed to believe you or my lying ears and lying eyes. I'm supposed to believe you, but not believe Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson asked you to stop doing this, and you still doing it because you got that much hatred in your heart for a man you do not know. Clown. This is the difference between me and these other YouTube channels, because he'll hear this and to say, man, he a fanboy. I just got an opinion. I'm just talking about. No, lying on a fighter is not an opinion. Gervonta Davis not and Frank Martin not fighting under a rehydration clause is not an opinion. That is a fact. They are not fighting under a rehydration clause. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. It's also a fact that Gervonta Davis has never put nobody under a rehydration clause at the weight division they was fighting at. That's also a fact. Ryan Garcia was only put at the weight division because Ryan Garcia was trying to stall negotiations and ask for more than he deserved. And then Gervonta said, okay, if I give you that, then you are fighting at 136 with a rehydration clause. Ryan Garcia said, okay. If Ryan Garcia would have just gave in to what Gervonta was saying the first time, the fight would have happened at 135, no rehydration clause, no nothing. Ryan was crying about 1 pound. I want y'all to think about that. What would be easier, y'all? Ryan to come in at 135? Because I think he did come in at 135 point something. For Ryan to come in at 135 or to make all this commotion for 1 pound and be under a rehydration clause in a catch weight. And then they talk about Gervonta Davis like catch weights, but they don't put that on Canelo. Canelo has fought plenty fights at catch weights. Oscar De La Hoya has fought plenty fights at catch weights. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather has fought plenty of fights at catch weights, but it's only Gervonta Davis that gets criticized for it. Like catch weights just start coming around when Gervonta Davis started fighting. Like catch weights just started coming around when Gervonta Davis fight. I cannot let these guys sit up here and continue to make these lies on these fighters, man. I'm sorry. Y'all may not like, some love me, some hate me for it. Either way, I don't care. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And you are lying on Gervonta Davis. Because you have hatred in your heart. Even the guy who sacked Shakur Stevenson, who sacked you, was trying to ride, asked you to stop doing that and said everything you were saying was false. Even Shakur Stevenson was defending Gervonta. Why would I argue with y'all? Why would I argue with y'all when two guys that are actually, one is trying to fight Gervonta Davis, one is actually fighting them, and they both saying what you are saying is not true. Gervonta's not even saying it. So y'all know what this is. Dean. By any means. And I holla at y'all.